The Galactic Council Hall was silent, oppressively so. Floating above the red giant star Keloris Prime, the Dyson ring that housed the council shimmered with light. Delegates of over 100 civilizations sat in their suspended orbs, encased in translucent shielding. All eyes were fixed on the center, on the human. Commander Rhea Morgan stood alone in Earth's antechamber, her expression unreadable. Her uniform bore no insignia, no rank. Just matte black fabric and the subtle sheen of carbon armor lining. Her hands rested calmly behind her back. Across from her, the Varn Dominion sphere flickered with static. A deliberate display of technological intimidation. Finally it cleared. High Warlord Zyrak's elongated head appeared, his crimson skin glistening, golden fangs flashing beneath deep-set, calculating eyes. Earth's silence is mistaken for weakness, he snarled. You call yourselves observers. We call you cowards hiding behind laws written by the fearful. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Elvari diplomat, a tall, willowy species known for neutrality, floated forward in their sphere. High Warlord, Earth is not obligated to intervene in your quarrels with Veltar. The Council has ruled them a sovereign, peace-aligned species. Zyrak's eyes narrowed. The Veltar have resources my people need. Their refusal to negotiate means they've chosen destruction. Rhea finally spoke, voice low but sharp. And dragging Earth into this? Was that part of your plan too? Zyrak bared his teeth. You built weapons. You built fleets. You claim neutrality while preparing for war. Earth is a wolf in diplomat's clothing. She didn't deny it. Council leader Jarnix, a seven-limbed Ithri with translucent skin, chimed in. Commander Morgan, does Earth intend to break neutrality? No, Rhea replied. Unless provoked. Zyrak slammed a clawed fist against his command console. Then consider this provocation. A hologram shimmered into view, displaying a shattered Earth research station, Orbit Station Theta, once floating peacefully above the neutral moon Godries 4. The wreckage spun lifelessly, crew presumed dead. The Dominion ships had left their mark, clean, deliberate, unmistakable. Silence returned. Your outpost was trespassing in Varn jurisdiction. Zyrak lied. Jarnix turned to Rhea. Earth Station was registered under joint exploration. It had Council protection. Zyrak sneered. Then perhaps the Council should protect better. Rhea didn't blink. You don't understand what you've done. He laughed. We understand you perfectly. Earth talks peace while preparing knives. You won't use them. Rhea tilted her head. Is that your final position? Zyrak leaned forward, his image distorted by static again. Earth has no allies. You're surrounded. The Council will not protect you. The Council sphere dimmed to signal session adjournment. Jarnix's voice echoed. Earth remains a neutral observer. And a final reminder, do not provoke the humans. Let them stay neutral. But the warning went unheeded. Later that night, aboard Shadow Command, Earth's cloaked military hub orbiting the far side of Luna, Rhea stepped into a dark war room. A holographic table displayed every known Varn fleet, each path charted in pale blue light. Her inner circle stood waiting. Status of Station Theta? She asked. 17 dead. 1 survivor en route to debrief, said Admiral Liang. They left the escape pod intact, on purpose. They want us angry, Rhea said flatly. They want us sloppy. General Imani, head of Earth Intelligence, folded his arms. They assume we'll either do nothing, or rush in and be branded aggressors. Classic bait play. We respond, Rhea said. Just not the way they expect. She turned to face the others. I want Ghost Fleet 1 ready in 48 hours. Full stealth. No official registry. No communications traceable to Earth. Liang blinked. Commander, that's a black op outside the treaties. Rhea met his eyes. So was blowing up our station. There was a pause. We'll ghost them, she continued. We'll fracture their intelligence network. Collapse their supply lines. Turn their soldiers against their officers. Not a single shot tied to Earth. And when Zyrak looks up, all he'll see is the aftermath. Imani nodded slowly. What about the council? Rhea gave a humorless smile. We'll send flowers. And a strongly worded letter. In a distant system, aboard the Varn dreadnought Bloodmark, Zyrak paced with predatory glee. He'd baited the humans, provoked them on a stage no one could ignore. Soon, they'd either strike and be condemned, or remain cowards and lose standing. Either outcome pleased him. Commander, his adjutant growled. Shall we prepare for Earth's retaliation? Zyrak laughed again. They won't retaliate. They'll hold meetings. File complaints. They've evolved into a council of clerks. His claws dragged across a star chart. But if they do, he paused, fangs glinting, then we get to break their myth. And remind this galaxy who the apex species really is. On Earth, dusk fell over the city of Ares 9, the Martian capital. Lights shimmered through red dust clouds as news feeds lit up across the galaxy. Some called for Earth to retaliate. Others warned against war. In the shadows of this rising storm, Rhea Morgan stood at the edge of her observation deck, staring into the black void beyond Luna. She said nothing. Only her reflection, faint in the glass, whispered what the others feared. They should have let us stay neutral. And somewhere, deep in the void, the ghost fleet began to move. The chamber lights dimmed as the footage played for the last time. A slow rotation of Station Theta's wreckage flickered on the screen. Torn solar arrays drifted like broken wings. The station's hull was split in two, its atmosphere bleeding out in shimmering plumes of frozen vapor. Bodies spun silently, no fire, no alarms. Just the cold, efficient aftermath of an execution. The room fell quiet again. Commander Rhea Morgan stood still, her arms crossed. Around her, the Security Council of Earth argued in circles. This is an act of war. Minister Kellen barked, slamming his fist on the desk. We can't sit on our hands. We're not sitting, Rhea said calmly. We're loading the knife. President Amir Kadir leaned forward, weary eyes searching hers. You're advocating covert action? I'm advocating survival, she replied. If we strike publicly, we break council law and invite multi-front retaliation. If we do nothing, Earth becomes a target. So we strike, from the shadows? Precisely. The room hesitated. War was always easier to declare than to contain. General Imani broke the silence. Operation Eidolon is ready. Ghost Fleet 1 is already en route to the outer ring of Varn space. No transponders. No trails. What's the mission objective? Kadir asked. Rhea answered without hesitation. Collapse. We make the Dominion bleed internally, communications, logistics, morale. Then we disappear. Kill their will before we ever touch their ships, Imani added. Kellen scoffed. You think you can fight an empire with silence? Rhea's gaze sharpened. Silence is all we need, if they don't know who's killing them. On board the UNSEF Black Eden, the lead stealth destroyer of Ghost Fleet 1, Commander Ana Velasquez floated in 0G, reviewing mission parameters. Her ship was coated in black photon-absorbing mesh. No windows. No signals. Just lethal quiet. AI Matrix reports full cloak integrity. Her pilot whispered. We're a shadow. Ana nodded. Then we move. Their first target was a Varn outpost relay, small, unarmed, but key to fleet communications. If severed, entire armadas would lose cohesion. Meanwhile, in Earth's deep vault below the Geneva complex, Rhea stepped into a sealed analysis chamber. A survivor from Station Theta had arrived. She was young, Lieutenant Unia Park, barely 26. Pale, shaking, eyes rimmed red from the medcryosis that preserved her. Her voice cracked as she spoke. They didn't come in shooting. They just appeared. No warnings. No signals. One ship. Massive. It opened the station like it was made of paper. Rhea leaned in. Did they say anything? Unia blinked. One word. Observe. Rhea's face hardened. They wanted witnesses. At the same hour, Zyrak sat aboard the Bloodmark, dining on the raw organs of Agaran ox, a rare delicacy. He enjoyed symbols, power, fear, spectacle. That's why he hadn't bombed the station from afar. That's why he'd left one survivor. He wanted Earth to feel the pressure. To choose between cowardice and annihilation. His communications officer entered the chamber. "We've lost ping from Karshak Relay 3. Zyrak paused. "Sabotage?" The officer hesitated. "No trace. No breach. The signal simply vanished." A chill crept up the warlord's spine, but he dismissed it. "Send a patrol. Replace the tower. Earth won't act." He was wrong. Back in Shadow Command, Rhea met privately with Director Salvan Wosu, head of Earth's Strategic Behavior Division, an agency focused on non-lethal dominance. "The Varn Dominion's mental structure is brittle," Salva said. "Highly hierarchical. If we fracture their chain of command, their cohesion breaks fast." "You have a plan?" Rhea asked. Salva nodded. "We inject synthetic communications. Fake orders from high command. Altered navigational data. Rumors of rebellion. And the source? Undetectable. AI will forge Dominion syntax down to the speech ticks. They'll believe it came from Zyrak himself." Rhea gave a tight nod. "Do it." By the end of the week, Varn battalions on 3 border moons reported conflicting orders. One garrison was told to attack a colony that no longer existed. Another received a message claiming Zyrak had died, then another proclaiming his promotion to emperor. In the chaos, a Varn admiral opened fire on his own fleet, believing it had been compromised. The footage leaked, anonymously, across council networks. Veltar representatives reached out to Earth, covertly, through encrypted channels. "We are told not to thank you. So we won't. But we see the shadows moving, and we are grateful they're not chasing us." President Kadir watched the latest intelligence reports scroll across his retinal HUD. Entire regions of Varn space were falling into confusion. Rumors of Earth's retaliation circulated across galactic forums, none confirmed, all denied. Yet the fear was real. "Do they suspect us?" he asked. Rhea stood at the edge of the viewport, gazing into space. "They suspect everyone now. That's the beauty of it. We're not attacking. We're infecting belief." Kadir exhaled. "And if Zyrak pushes harder?" She did in turn. "Then we stop him, loudly." Elsewhere, inside a covert Dominion base, a lone technician stared at his console. His station's AI had begun playing strange sounds, Earth classical music. Tchaikovsky, fading in and out. He checked the signal origin. It came from within their own system, under Dominion coding. Above him, the lights dimmed. Then a voice echoed through the speakers. "Calm. Human. This is not war. This is a correction." Panic set in. Dozens of similar reports emerged across Varn networks. But Earth remained silent. No claim. No denial. Just quiet. And the hum of approaching consequences. The Dominion invasion began at dawn. Veltar's twin suns hadn't yet pierced the horizon when the first Varn dropships tore through the sky, black silhouettes against lavender clouds. Explosions followed, measured, precise. Not meant to conquer. Meant to cripple. The Varn wanted the planet silent before the Galactic Council could even respond. High Warlord Zyrak watched the assault from orbit. Dozens of feeds displayed every city struck, every reactor destroyed, every Veltari resistance crushed before it formed. His officers saluted in silence. He spoke only once. "Let the Council see their protectees fall." 2 sectors away, in the belly of a dark system, Earth's Ghost Fleet 1 waited beneath the black gas clouds of an unnamed moon. Commander Ana Velasquez stood before her ops crew, each motionless, bathed in red tactical light. Data scrolled across the walls, encrypted Varn channels, fleet movement, energy fluctuations. "They've begun the invasion," her AI relayed. "Full deployment." Ana tapped the display. "Phase 2. We fracture their rear." Across the fleet, 38 stealth ships activated. Their profiles were invisible to standard sensors, silent, heat-shielded, untraceable. They split apart like ink in water, each bound for a specific weak point in the Dominion's network. Fuel relays. AI cores. Interplanetary signal hubs. Quiet kills. Back at Earth's Shadow Command, Rhea monitored the operation with crossed arms. The room around her was silent, no celebration, no tension. Just professionals executing a plan. Admiral Leong leaned in. Veltar won't last a week without support. They won't have to, Rhea said. We're not stopping the invasion. We're making it unsustainable. General Imani turned from his screen. What's the latest from psychological ops? Rhea responded without looking up. They've deployed the mirrors. The mirrors were small drones disguised as Varn tech. They embedded themselves in Dominion barracks, control rooms, and transport hubs. Each was programmed to do one thing: create doubt. They simulated fake broadcasts of Varn commanders defecting. They inserted false orders into live missions. They made ships hear voices, distress calls from their own families that didn't exist. And most damning, they made soldiers believe Zyrak had turned on them. On Veltar's surface, Dominion Colonel Koresh strode through the remains of a government complex. Burned trees cracked underfoot. The smell of ash was everywhere. His comms unit chirped. Stand down and return to orbit. Zyrak has declared the southern leg compromised. Koresh paused. That order didn't match his battle map. Repeat last, he demanded. Southern leg is compromised. All southern battalions are to be considered enemies. He blinked. We are the southern leg. At that same moment, orbiting high above, the Varn fleet flagship Talon of Wrath received simultaneous, contradictory messages from the Council. One transmission declared Earth guilty of aggression. The second said Earth was aiding Zyrak. The third claimed Zyrak was dead. Admiral Nock, second only to Zyrak, stared at the messages. They're playing with our own network, he muttered. They've breached us. One of his lieutenants looked up. Do we retaliate? Nock hesitated. We don't know who we're retaliating against. The collapse began in hours. Varn's ships, unable to verify orders, stalled in orbit. Half of them believed the war was already over. Others suspected betrayal from within. Veltar resistance, small and unarmed, took back power plants and communication nodes while Dominion soldiers stood paralyzed by conflicting data. A squad of elite Varn operatives turned their weapons on their own commander when he failed a biometric test they didn't remember installing. Fear wasn't spreading. It had arrived. In the quiet of a war room beneath Earth's surface, President Kadir watched the reports scroll in. One by one, Dominion-controlled systems blinked out, not from destruction, but from chaos. He turned to Rhea. You realize what you've done? She gave him a calm glance. What we had to. They'll know it was us. She nodded. Eventually. But by then, it won't matter. On the blood mark, Zyrak's face twisted as the reports came in. Civil disputes among captains, friendly fire in high orbit, command posts abandoning missions to follow backup protocols. That didn't exist. He slammed his claw into the armrest. Earth, he hissed. This is Earth. A voice on the comms buzzed in, filtered, synthesized, human-coded. This isn't war, Warlord. This is subtraction. Static. Then silence. In council chambers, delegates debated furiously. No one had claimed responsibility. No signatures, no transmissions, no movement visible. Only systems collapsing, soldiers defecting, fleets halting mid-space like statues. The Elvari delegate leaned toward Jarnex. We told the Varn to let Earth stay neutral. Jarnex didn't respond. He simply watched a screen show Dominion sectors going dark one by one. He murmured, They didn't start a war. They just ended a structure. At Shadow Command, Rhea stood alone now, staring at a live satellite feed of Veltar. The skies were clearing. The Varn dropships hovered, still but unsure. On the surface, the Veltari raised their flags again, quietly, without ceremony. Rhea exhaled slowly. Behind her, Imani stepped forward. One of their ships just vented its own AI core. No command given. They're burning their own systems, she said softly. To stop us. He hesitated. And if Zyrak doesn't stop? Ria's voice was cold steel. Then we move to Phase 3. High above Earth, hidden in the cold dark between satellites and silence, the Varn dreadnought black spine cut through space like a slow-moving dagger. 3 kilometers of alloyed hull, bristling with weapons that had crushed civilizations. It wasn't here to fire. It was here to intimidate. Inside the council chamber orbiting Keloris Prime, Warlord Zyrak's image dominated the central dais. His voice echoed, calculated, cold. We gave Earth a chance to retreat into neutrality. They declined? He gestured, and the hologram shifted to display Earth's moon, magnified, framed in red targeting brackets. The black spine now orbits their world. We will disable their command systems and force surrender. Gasps rippled through the council spheres. You are violating Article 17, the Alvari delegate said, tone strained. You're threatening a neutral homeworld. They stopped being neutral the moment our fleets fell apart with no enemy in sight. Zyrak snapped. This was never a war of armies. It was a war of control. Earth made their move. Now we make ours. The room turned to Rhea Morgan. She stood alone, calm as stone. Commander, Jarnex said quietly, Earth must issue a formal denial or risk losing its status. Rhea shook her head. No denials. No pleas. Just a message. Zyrak smirked. And what is Earth's message? Rhea's voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. Move your ship. Or watch it burn. The silence that followed was vast. In Shadow Command, red alert lights pulsed across the command deck. The black spine loomed over Earth's orbital path, positioned with surgical precision. Not one Varn cannon powered up, but every scanner across the planet saw the threat. Rhea walked in, eyes fixed on the giant display showing the dreadnought's slow drift. Has it locked targeting solutions? She asked. No, Admiral Liang replied. But it doesn't need to. It's flexing muscle. She nodded once. Begin Phase 3. General Imani gave a small exhale. Authorization code? Her reply was calm. Sword of Damascus. The room fell into motion. Dozens of officers keyed in commands. Across Earth's military web, dormant protocols activated, some buried so deep that even senior officials hadn't known they existed. One of them sat aboard a station cloaked behind Neptune's ice belt. Its crew had been sleeping. Now, blinking and confused, they ran checks on a single payload, Eidolon 13. A gravitic compression warhead. Experimental. Prohibited. Silent. Its launch time was 32 seconds. On the black spine, Captain Varric approached Zyrak with visible discomfort. We're receiving abnormal gravitational readings from the outer system, he said. Could be natural, Zyrak muttered, distracted by a stream of intercepted Earth transmissions. Varric hesitated. Sir, the pattern isn't natural. It's artificial. Like lensing. Something's pulling at mass. Zyrak froze. He turned to the NAV station. Run a full spectral analysis. The AI answered coldly. Unknown object accelerating at 0.3 c. No propulsion signature. Estimated arrival, 3 minutes. Zyrak's jaw tightened. What kind of weapon travels that fast without heat? No one answered. Rhea watched from her command seat as the signal blinked green. ETA? She asked. 2 minutes, 21 seconds. Liang swallowed. It will hit before they can react. Good, Rhea said. Let them feel it coming. Inside the black spine, alarms began to shriek. The Varn bridge exploded into activity as officers scrambled for data that didn't exist. There was no launch vector. No origin. No source. Just a reading, a tear in space barreling toward them. Zyrak's voice thundered. Raise full shields. Engage evasive protocols. Too late. The object didn't explode on impact. It passed through. Then the ship bent, screamed, folded in on itself, and vanished. No debris. No fire. Just vacuum. In the council chamber, chaos erupted. Delegates screamed across translation fields. Some vanished from the grid entirely, assuming war had just been declared. Others sat stunned. Rhea stood still, arms behind her back. Jarnix's voice quivered. Was that your doing? Yes. You admit it? I confirm it, she replied. Because you need to understand. That was not war. That was mercy. We gave them hours to move. You gave no warning. You gave them a warning, she said. And they ignored it. On Veltar, the skies were quiet. The Varn ground troops, leaderless, cut off, paranoid, began withdrawing in waves. One destroyer detonated from within, its AI turned rogue. Veltari citizens stepped from bunkers to see enemy ships retreating under silent stars. No banners were raised. No cheers. Only a deep, slow realization they had survived because someone, somewhere, had made it impossible not to. Later, Rhea appeared on a restricted feed. Only council leaders received it. Her face was emotionless. Earth is still neutral. We do not seek war. We seek deterrence. We were warned once to stay observers. We agreed. She paused. But if provoked, we respond, not with fleets, but with conclusions. A long silence followed. Her final words cut through the noise. Let this be the last time. The feed ended. Jarnix sat alone in the council core, lights dimmed around him. He replayed the feed again. Not a single lie. Not a boast. No joy in power. Just inevitability. He spoke to no one, yet his voice filled the chamber. They weren't bluffing. They were waiting. The galaxy held its breath. 12 hours after the Black Spine vanished without a trace, the Varn Dominion ceased all military activity. Their border fleets powered down. Command relays went dark. No statements. No retaliation. Only silence. It wasn't surrender. It was realization. Zyrak was missing. His flagship had been erased so completely that not even atoms remained. And no one had seen Earth fire a weapon. In the vacuum that followed, chaos didn't spread, it stalled. Across Varn-controlled space, commanders refused to issue new orders, fearing that unseen eyes were listening. Colonies rerouted ships away from Earth's systems. For the first time in generations, Varn territory stopped expanding. In the Veltar capital, high in their crystalline spire, Elder Taloni sat with her aides, watching a live stream from orbit. The Earth ship Black Eden hung still, low above the planet, cloaked but broadcasting a signal. We will not remain. We are not your saviors. But we will not forget who stood when others fell. No banners. No emblem. Just truth. Taloni whispered. So this is what the Council feared, not war, but that they wouldn't be needed anymore. At Earth's Shadow Command, Rhea walked the quiet hallway leading to the strategic archives. No fanfare. No medals. Just another day. President Kadir met her at the far end, his expression unreadable. Your message reached every corner of the Council, he said. Some have requested immediate treaties. Others want to investigate. They can investigate, she replied. There's nothing left to find. He gestured toward a nearby holoscreen showing Council delegates reviewing wreckage reports, except there was no wreckage. Only distorted gravitational readings and missing time. They're afraid of us. They should be, Rhea said. But not because we struck. Kadir raised a brow. Then why? She turned fully toward him. Because we didn't. In a council meeting 3 systems away, Jarnix listened to reports of mass realignments. Trade federations once dependent on Varn protection were now turning toward Earth for stability. Peaceful nations requested joint technology agreements. Earth hadn't asked for power. It had simply removed the illusion of safety. And the galaxy saw the truth. General Imani stepped into Rhea's office, a tablet in hand. Request from Veltar. They want to name their rebuilt orbital defense system after Earth. No, Rhea said immediately. We don't want iconography. No monuments. No temples. Then what do we want? He asked. She looked out the viewport, Earth spinning slowly below. We want the next species that considers conquest to hesitate. Not out of fear, but out of certainty that we will not be conquered. Imani nodded. The apex strategy? No, she corrected. Just clarity. Far from Earth, in a quiet dome buried beneath a frozen moon, remnants of the Varn High Council met in secret. Zyrak's chair remained empty. One elder finally spoke. They say Earth didn't even move a fleet. That the weapon wasn't manned. That no ship tracked them. Just consequence. Another whispered. We spent centuries building fleets. They spent decades building deterrents. Silence followed. Then a final voice, hoarse and resigned. We hunted them once. Now they hunt the idea of war. On Earth, inside the preserved ruins of the original United Nations building, a single plaque was placed in the rebuilt council chamber. It read, "Let us remain neutral. Not because we are afraid, but because we are prepared." In the quiet stillness of deep space, a Varn scout ship drifted near the edge of a dead system, one that Earth's ghost fleet had used as a staging ground. Inside the ship, sensors beeped softly. Then all data vanished. For 3 full minutes, the ship lost time. No damage. No intrusion. Just an empty gap in the black box log. When it returned, a single phrase had been left on the main console. Don't. Back at Shadow Command, Rhea sat alone, reviewing intelligence reports. Most were uneventful: an intercepted transmission, a border fleet moving away, another alien faction requesting non-aggression alignment. Then came a notification from Earth's AI Oversight Program. Signal, unknown origin. Language, Veltari hybrid. Message, 1 sentence. She opened it. If you ever choose to lead, we will follow. She read it twice. Then deleted it. Earth didn't need followers. That night, Earth's skies shimmered with auroras. Not from war. From solar activity dancing off the newly deployed satellite net, one that covered the planet not in weapons, but in watchfulness. People didn't celebrate. They simply carried on. Because for them, war had never arrived. Because someone else had made sure of that. And somewhere, buried beneath encrypted layers so deep no council AI could decipher them, sat the full footage of what had really happened to the Black Spine. It wasn't explosive. It wasn't grand. It was a simple burst of compressed gravity, released like a folded breath. Silent. Invisible. Clean. And beside that file, Rhea had written 1 sentence. We are not what we appear. We are what you let us become. In another time, in another war, someone had once asked, are humans predators? Now, the galaxy knew the answer. Not just predators. Apex.